All right, so for this game, looks like we have a pretty standard kind of sequencing game. There's only 5 slots to work with, which is great. And the elements themselves happen to be F, G, H, J, K. Now, nothing weird about the game. Everybody goes exactly once, one at a time. So I guess we can just go straight to the rules. First rule says G has to go before F. So I guess we can say that G is at some point before F. Next, K has to go before both H and J. So I guess we can do that separately. K is before H and K is before J. And lastly, H has to go immediately next to F, which is kind of nice because we can kind of integrate these two rules together. So we can say that the H and the F are going to have to be next to each other, one way or the other. And then we also know that the G is going to go before the F, so we can kind of link that in. We can say that G has to go before these guys. So everybody is nicely interconnected to some degree. It's worth noting that G and K, so it looks like these two guys are really the only ones that could go first, so that might be worth recognizing. The last position could really shuffle between any of these three, right? It could be H, F, or J, so that's a bit more flexible. Although the HF block, that's kind of, I mean, we could really only put, it has to go after 2 people, so we can only really go into 3, 4, or into 4, 5, right? There's only 2 different ways that that can go. And depending on where you put it, it's either going to lock the GK or maybe even, you know, yeah, let's exhaust this based on the HF block. Essentially, either the HF block is going to split positions 3 and 4, we just don't know which is which, or it's going to go into positions 4 and 5 again, we just don't know which is which. Now, top scenario is much tighter. We know that G and K have to go before the HF block, so they'll just split positions numbers 1 and 2, and then J is just going to be left in position 5, so that's great. Bottom scenario, I suppose we have a bit more flexibility, but I guess what we'll have is we'll have to have K before the J, and the G can just shuffle everything back and forth. So we're going to have something like G / K before J. We can kind of notate that in there as a reminder. And yeah, that's pretty good. Let's jump into the questions. So the questions themselves, question number 1 is our standard exclusion question, and again, we do this by the original rules. First rule, G before F. So A, B, and C look good. D is okay as well. E is not. We have G after F, so we can get rid of E. Next, K before H and J. Let's take a look. A, nope. We have K in between them, which doesn't work. B, that's convenient. I think we have K in between them again. That doesn't work. Answer choice C, they're before both, and D, K is before both. Lastly, we're just down to C and D. H and F have to be consecutive, so C violates that. They have a J in between, while D has them next to each other. So we're good. Best answer to question number 1 is D. Next, actually, let's just plug that into the board briefly. So answer choice D says KGJ, FH. Next, question number 2 is our first local, which says, if J is before G. Now, if J is before G, I suppose this is no longer a possibility, so we're not in the first template. So we're in the second template. And on top of that, if we have the J before G, then it's just going to be K, J, and then it's going to be G. So essentially, we can even, it's going to be K, J, G with F and H splitting 4 and 5. The question asks, which of the following could happen? F4, and actually maybe F and H can flip between 4 and 5, so why not? Let's hold on to that. Just in case, answer choice B, G2 and definitely not. H3, definitely not. J3, definitely not. And K2, also no. The best answer to question number 2 is A. Next, looks like the rest of these are global. Let's take a look. Answer choice, sorry, question number 3. What cannot happen? Answer choice A. F is immediately before J. Could we have an FJ block? Now, you'll notice that in this template, that could happen because we could have H, F, and then J over there. So that seems easily possible. Next, G is immediately before H. Could we do that? And maybe in this, actually in either of these templates, really, you could have had a G over here and an H over there, or a G over here and an H over there. That easily seems possible. Answer choice C, H immediately before G. Can we have an HG block? And no, we cannot, right? No matter what, either the HF block is here or it's over here, but the H would never go right before the G. So best answer to question number 3 is C. For the record, for answer choices D and E, can we have a JG block? And maybe, in fact, we did that right there. And answer choice E, could we have a KH block? And maybe in this scenario, we could have had a K in 2 and an H in 3, so that would have been possible. Either way, once again, best answer to 3 is C. Next, question number 4. Essentially, what would lock down the game if it was true? So we're looking for something that would completely resolve everything. Let's see. Answer choice A. F is immediately before H. Now, if we have an FH block, the thing is, you'll notice that that would be consistent with both of these templates. You could have an FH here, you could have an FH there, but the fact that we could have at least 2 templates where that works, that already tells us that that wouldn't completely lock us into only one possibility. B, G is immediately before F. Now, if we have a GF block, would that lock the game? And again, no, because you'll notice that it would be consistent with both of these templates, right? Because you could put a G here and an F there, or you could put a G here with K and J in 1 and 2, and the F in 4. So the fact that it's consistent with both templates means that it doesn't lock you into just one possibility. Answer choice C, H is immediately before J. Now, you'll notice that we could do that here. We could put the H here and the J there, but G and K could still split. That would still be variables, so that wouldn't be enough. Answer choice D, J is immediately before H. Now, arguably that could happen in this scenario, not in that one, because J is already in 5. So actually, this might be pretty good. If we put a J over here and an H over there, oh, but wait, G and K will still be able to split between 1 and 2. So that wouldn't be enough to lock the game. Answer choice E, K is immediately before F. And I suppose in this scenario that wouldn't work because the J would have to be in between them. And in the top scenario, yeah, that takes care of it. If K is immediately before F, it would have to be K in 2 and F in 3, and then H would lock and G would lock, and that would take care of it. That would completely resolve everything. The best answer to question number 4 is E. Next, question number 5. How many students are there, any of whom could go 4th? Well, if we look at our templates, actually, yeah, we have this resolved. According to our templates, this could only be an H or an F, and this also could only be an H or an F. So really, H and F are the complete set. There are only 2 people that could go 4th. Best answer to question number 5 is B.